Hi, my name is Jacob Parker. This is my reflection of the past few weeks of how my group, the Six Blind Mice, have been working together. And overall, I believe the Six Blind Mice have worked well together to produce some interesting experiments. Lots of things have worked well, but there is definitely room for improvement. We definitely work best when we're all together and given time to brainstorm ideas for our experiments. We create non-judgmental space where I believe everyone feels comfortable to share their ideas. It's when we have to come up with ideas when we aren't together, where our group lacks certain skills though. Our online communication is quite ineffective, which has been the reason so many experiments have been left to the last minute and not had adequate planning. I think it would be beneficial to take more time outside of class when we are all free to arrange a meeting to discuss our experiments and plans. We could also have a Zoom meeting. I think that would be helpful if we can't make it all on campus. This would help with our ineffectiveness of communicating via Instagram group chat. When we are performing the experiments, I believe communication continues to be our largest limiting factor that prevents our experiments' ultimate success. During production, the floor manager often doesn't give any further instructions to camera operators, which limits the potential for increased dynamics during the experiment. This isn't a major issue, but would definitely help to increase communication during production. First experiment was the performance, where Jasper and Sarah talked about the dangers of fast fashion and I model clothes that we had purchased from secondhand op shops. This was an interesting experiment idea. I still think one of our best. It has a lot of potential. However, the plan was finalized literally minutes before production, which was quite obvious, unfortunately. The planning or lack thereof was a major factor that limited the success of our first experiment. I enjoyed being the model and improvising talking points. That was a little uncomfortable at first, but not being able to see the crowd due to the lights helped a lot. Our second experiment was a trivia game that was related to Wollongong, in the Wollongong area. This was another interesting segment with a lot of potential. I thought it was quite interesting and the team's competitive dynamic worked well. The role I played for this one was as the audio mixer of the performance, which was a really interesting role. I really liked being behind the scenes and getting to play around in that. I think more unique camera angles and pacing could have made the show a bit more visually engaging. It kind of got stale a bit as the minutes rolled on. But yeah, I think overall it was pretty good. Our most recent experiment was our platform piece, where we had to interview a person from the Wollongong area. This took a lot of planning to get someone to the studio to interview. And thankfully Jasper was able to bring one of his artist friends in. We should have started planning a while ago to smooth out any potential issues again. This was still an interesting experiment though. The runtime for this segment was the biggest issue, as we didn't prepare enough questions and conversation between the host and the interviewee didn't feel like it flowed naturally, and conversations were not expanded upon, I feel. Ultimately, our biggest issues so far have been our lack of planning and lack of communication on the floor, but especially lack of planning. Our experiments have enlightened me to an array of future possibilities and ideas and perspectives that I will take into the following weeks. The most important possibility that has emerged is the opportunity to focus a lot more on planning our experiments to a greater degree. This will allow us to maximize our potential of our productions and will ensure that everything goes right, as well as, and arguably most importantly, giving Aaron and Matt enough time to know our planned layout. The final weeks will feature considerably better communication between the Six Blind Mice in class, out of class, and on the studio floor to ensure that we are all sharing our ideas and thoughts that will enable us to create our best experiments yet. Thank you so much for listening to my reflection. Have a good one. Bye.